I'm just popping on to do a quick feather. I'm going to use Pixiss Sapphire Blue, Let's Resin Cobalt Blue, and I'm going to use a little bit of the Silver Flakes. So that's it for this one. And I did get a little flake in that. That's going to be one of the blues, but it'll be fine. Not worried about it. They're going to blend a little bit anyways. I don't want a ton of the silver. I just want a little bit for shimmer in that layer. So, and this resin is super thick today for whatever reason. I've been very much struggling with temperatures lately. So I kind of picked colors for this one that have like a bluebirdy kind of a vibe. I'm just going to break one of these coffee stir sticks apart for this instead of using a full-size popsicle stick. It'll be easier to get into the mold. I kind of thought about putting like a little bit of a rust color in, but I think that the rust would mix badly with the blue, so I changed my mind on that. So I'm going to start with the cobalt first, or sorry, the sapphire. This one was sapphire. And I'm going to pour it all in. I'm going to try and work some of it down. I do want to get it into the tip there. So I'm going to move on to the lighter color. And again, I'm going to pour all of that in. And again, I'm going to push it in. Just kind of blending the colors a little bit, but not too much, hopefully. And just making sure there's full coverage. I'm going to go ahead in with the silver leaf. Just pour it down the spine. And this I'm not going to manipulate, I'm just going to let it go. And I do have a cup of just clear that I'm going to pour along too, just to finish filling it, because these cups hold about an ounce and this is a 4-ounce mold. And I do want it completely filled. So there we go. Just kind of swirling it, scraping a little bit more of this blue out of this cup that's settled. Just trying to get the bubbles along the edges, the bigger bubbles anyways. So I will keep an eye on the back side of this for bubbles as they arise. I will just spritz it with a mini mister once in a while to get any that do pop up. And I will be back tomorrow to unmold it with you. So this one is ready. I thought we'd unmold it together. I am going to immediately pour a second one of these as soon as I'm done unmolding this one. I'll get the camera flipped around and we'll move on. We did end up having to run out last night at the last second, so I didn't really babysit this at all. So I do have some bubbles around the edge. I am going to sand the edge real quick and then do a top coat on that also. So I will show you that as well. But let's get her out of the mold and see what we have. Wow. This is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Let me show you. This one is absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't have a lot of the silver showing, which is what I wanted. I just wanted a tiny, tiny little bit. So I am going to go ahead and, I don't even think I'm really going to have to sand the bubbles off. I think I can just go over them because it did, the biggest one did pop right here, and that'll fill in on the top coat. So I may hit it real quick, but that's going to be it. But I'm going to immediately, like I said, turn around and refill this mold right now. Okay, so this one I'm going to do red, kind of like Cardinal colors, but I do want a tiny bit of the flakes in it, so I'm going to go with copper on this one. So, and then it's just going to be red and black ink. My copper flakes are awfully thick, so I'm just trying to break off a small chunk. And it's a little dry and staticky in here, so they're kind of trying to run. But the flakes I'm using are these ones from Amazon. They come in a 3-pack, gold, silver, and copper. I will get the link up for that. So I'm going to do probably not quite an ounce of that. Somewhere in the neighborhood of an ounce, I guess. The red I'm going to want more of, so I'm going to do that in a bigger cup. And then the black, again, I'm not quite going to want, I don't want too much black, but I want a good amount. So I'll probably do roughly an ounce there. So for the copper flakes, I'm just going to mix it in. And I am having a heck of a time mixing resin right now. If I warm the resin, it is too hot and it like flash cures immediately and it's terrible and bubbly. And if I don't warm it, it's too thick and I end up with a ton of bubbles like this. It's just, it's so hot and dry right now that I am truly, truly struggling more than normal. This I'm going to use the Pixiss cherry for the red. I'm going to put the link to Amazon for this down below, but the shipping rules for alcohol inks have changed and now they're calling them a hazardous material, so getting them from Amazon seems to be a problem currently, but I'm not sure if there's a way to change it so they go by ground and not by air, or if that's even the problem. but I'll go ahead and leave the links anyways. So that should be red enough. This just feels thick and chunky. I don't, like I said, I'm struggling. I'm going to use the Let's Resin Black. I'm going to see if this gets dark enough. It's from their pastel line, so I don't know if it'll be dark enough on its own without any dye mixed in. And I don't worry about the bubbles as much on the alcohol ink layer because the alcohol kind of pulls the bubbles back out on its own. It's just like this one's got a lot of bubbles rising to the top. And it's immediately warming, and I haven't even warmed it at all. It's just fairly warm in the room, so I'm a little confused and disheartened about what's going on with the resin lately. But I'm going to pour this around the edge and let it work itself down in. I am hoping that the black doesn't totally overwhelm the red. But we'll see. I'd wanted to get to this morning so I could have been unmolding this one tonight, but it's just been a crazy day. So, didn't happen. Alright, so I'm going to use this stick. This is why I use the skinnier sticks, just to make sure it's all tucked down in there. I can see that the feather part, or the end piece, filled in. I'm sure there's a name for the quill part. Maybe it is just the quill, but I'm not sure if that's what you call it when it's actually attached to the feather or not. So I'm going to run a little bit of the black first. And then I'm going to do the copper flake one. Again, it's just very, very subtle. I wanted them to kind of match, but not really match. So since I use silver in the Bluebird feather, I want to use copper in the Cardinal inspired feather. These two are being done as gifts, so they're not for retail or for an order. These ones are being made with 2 specific people in mind. And hopefully they will like them. So the black is not spreading a ton into the red, which I don't want it to, but I want it to move a little bit. So I'm going to just chase back through and push it a tiny bit. I don't know if you can see through the mold where it's moving in a bit. That's all I'm looking for, is just a tiny, tiny little bit pushed in. So I'm going to, I don't want to pour from the big cup into there. I feel like I way overmixed my resin, so I'm going to have to find another quick project to finish up, I think. I'm just going to run this clear till it's filled to the top. And I'm okay with it pushing out at the center, so it's got that clear bottom like the other one had. I like the way that ends up looking. So that should be good and filled. So that is it for that one. I'm gonna wipe my gloves off real quick, just so I don't get any of the pigments color from that on the blue one. And I am gonna go ahead and spritz this one. I should have no distractions tonight. There's nobody home but the dog, so I should be able to watch this one better, and I shouldn't have to top coat this one. So I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to bring this one back in. It's gorgeous. I'm going to flip her over real quick. And see if I can find... I just got a little piece of sandpaper that I'm going to wrap around the sanding block, because I'm not going to do too much. Sorry about the noise. Alright, so that should open up any bubbles that there might have been unpopped. I'm just going to wipe the dust off quick. Okay. So, again, I don't want to pour directly from this big cup. So I'm just going to move a little bit into a medicine cup. Probably more than I needed to move, but that's okay. And I'm just going to grab a popsicle stick. And I'm just going to pour a little bit. You don't want a ton because you don't want it dripping down the side of your piece. And I'm just going to spread it on there. And try and keep it within the boundaries of that base from the mold. Most resins will sort of dome on their own. It won't like overflow where you put it when it's on a flat surface like this, unless you, like if I dragged some down here, it would overflow and roll down that. But on its own, it doesn't tend to travel. And this has been sitting for a couple minutes, so it's actually fairly thick, which works to my advantage also. And I'm gonna just bring in a little bit more. But that should give it a nice flat base. I am going to give it just a quick torch. That'll encourage it to level itself out and be flat again. And take any bubbles out of that layer. So that is it. I will be back again tomorrow when the red one is done. We'll unmold that together, and then these should be completely done. Okay, so it's morning now. I just got home from work, and I want to unmold the other feather quick and show you the blue one again. The base coat is pretty perfect now. That worked out really well, so this one is good. And I'm going to unmold the red one quick. And hopefully it looks good. If not, maybe I'll be pouring another one today. It's coming out. Ah, I think I just broke the end of it. I did too. So I'm going to be pouring another one. Crap. I can't believe I did that. This is like 10 of these, and that's the first time I've done that. I don't think I can fix it either. But we'll look at it anyways and see how it looks. That's really too bad because it looked really nice. So, I guess I thought that the red looked weird when I mixed it. I said that, and I think that maybe it was just weird because I have never, ever, ever had anything resin break like that on me. So that was a little bit odd. I think it might have been something in the makeup of the resin. So what I'm going to do is mix up another batch, do the exact same thing, but maybe use Tim Holtz red instead of that red, and give it another try. But I'm going to do the exact same thing. So that's really, really a bummer. It would have been really pretty, but I guess now it's just going to live with me. So I guess I will re-pour this. I don't know if you guys want to see me do it again or not. Maybe I'll come back on and do it again, because I really do want another perfect one. I may back off on the black a little bit on the next one. I'm not sure yet. But I do like the way the copper looks mixed into this one, and I do think that was the right amount of that. So, all right. I guess I'll be back again to do this again. Okay, I am back with take 2 of the red feather mess. So this is the one I broke, putting that aside. I mixed up more red this time. I went with Tim Holtz Crimson this time, so I'm just going to jump in. I think when I unmolded that, it was just super cold in this room when it cured overnight. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this time. So there's some red in there. Like I said, I mixed up quite a bit more red this time, so I'm going to run my stick along the inside again. You can kind of see with this mold when you have a bubble. So it is kind of nice. Like, I can see the bubble in there, so I will work that up. All right. I think I'm just gonna do a tiny bit more red. I do feel like I had a little too much black last time, so I only mixed up like half as much black. And I do have my copper mixed dip, so I'm going to put the copper in next. There. And then I'm going to run a little bit of the black around the edge and a little bit up the middle. And that should bring it to just about full. So I do want the black to kind of swirl in. So like the last time, I'm gonna push it down a little bit and let it sink. And again, this will help with any bubbles that need to be released. I'm just going to swirl across the top this time. Just trying to look through the side of the mold to see what I've got. Alright, so I guess once again I will be back tomorrow to unmold the red again. And hopefully it'll be done this time. Okay, we're back one more time. Let's see if I can unmold this one nicely. I hope. Nervous. I did see today that Amazon has figured out how to ship the alcohol inks, it seems. It now says that they're not unavailable to ship, but they are possibly delayed because I think they have to go fully by ground or a different carrier. So I'm getting to that end. All right. So my links should all be good again, hopefully, because I know a lot of you have been ordering inks through Amazon through my links, and I very much appreciate that. So they should be all set again at this point. All right. This looks fantastic. Hopefully you can see. I think I actually like this one better than the first anyways, because the first I did too much black. So there they are side by side. This one has more of that red showing through. You can see a tiny bit of the copper, but that's perfect. It's what I wanted. The back side's pretty good on this one. I don't think I have to do anything to that. So these are my Bluebird and Cardinal feathers done, and they'll sit for a couple days. I'll probably get them out in the mail on like Monday maybe. I don't think I'll get to the post office Saturday. So that is it. Thank you for bearing with me, and no matter how much experience you have, you just never know when you're gonna have a problem. This is like really brittle. It didn't break because I was rough with the mold. It's just for whatever reason, whether it was the temperature or that particular ink in that temperature, it just got super, super brittle. So this one's just gonna hang out with me for a while, I guess. Probably eventually I'll get annoyed with it and toss it, but for now it'll live on my counter and I'll throw something on it. But so again, I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. If there's anything in particular you want to see me try or do or whatever, always feel free to ask. Please hit that like and subscribe. And click the notification bell if you want to see future videos as they get released. So thank you.